This is my point. The story you tell about material things is the value they're gonna have. Timberland boots had no value until hip-hop gave it value. Head bandanas, headpieces, rags on the head, no value until hip-hop gave it value. Even jeans themselves, the concept of the jean, no real value until hip-hop gave it value. Now what if you looked in the mirror and gave that image in the mirror value? This is the hardest piece, because most of us don't believe we have value. So we look in the mirror every day and we say, that is valueless. That's what's causing poverty. Value yourself first. I am somebody. There were several sects that knew the truth, and they would put that truth into whatever craft they were practicing at the time. So first you have men and women that make boats, and they make these boats to sail. So they create what is called maritime law, the law of the sea. And there's a gentleman named Jason Whitley, as well as Jordan Maxwell, that speaks, actually Jordan Maxwell speaks extensively on this, that in an ancient sense, those who made ships would put spiritual knowledge into the concept of shipbuilding. So you would get God as a ship. God's inner would be the hull, the mind is the sails, and we are on the stage of life sailing, sort of like, but the point is that secrets are put into the craft of the teacher. The teacher does not blatantly tell you, this is the truth. You won't even understand it. What the teacher does is put the truth in the craft that the teacher is practicing. So you have shipbuilding, and you get this whole philosophy, which is really all of Egyptian mythology.
Harlem, there's well, every city has a Dr. King Boulevard. If you go to the edges of those cities, or even along the whole of the boulevard, what are black people doing on Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard? We're selling drugs illegal. We're killing ourselves on Dr. King Boulevard. Then they think, well, there's a movie called Black Panther, the Black Panther movie, where it has become American entertainment to show how the government put heroin in the black community to offset revolutionary organizations. This is American entertainment. Like, you could go to the movies, sit down, and be entertained by this. I find it amazing. History repeats itself.
Other people, don't be so quick to quit, because culture needs corporate, and corporate needs culture. In fact, culture thrives. When a culture is thriving, it manifests corporate. It makes it, whether it likes it or not. It's throwing off jewels. It's throwing off resources and things that everybody wants. A vibrant culture, corporations are going to come to it, and it's going to create new jobs and new entrepreneurships, a vibrant culture. So corporate is not against culture. Culture is not against corporate. What we don't have is integrity in corporate life, dignity in corporate life, loyalty in corporate life. If we can maintain those things, then you do fine in corporate life.
Hinduism teaches that when the mother is out of order, the whole family is out of order. Not when the father is out of order. Women are the center of the family, which means women are the center of the nation. of the nation.
That's why the system attacks them first.
Right. Get moms first, and you control the son and the father.
That's what Hitler said. First you get the women, then you got the children.
We're seeing our solution right here before our very eyes. We need to return to the feminine principles. We need to return to a respect for women. We need to start calling God she. That messes up their whole psychology. That destroys the whole thing. We need to go to where the real architecture of government is. And it's not in a president. It's in a global scheme to make the 99% work for the 1%. And the 99% are going along with it because they're tempting you with everything you want. In rap, a rapper named T.I. put a record out. He said, you can have whatever you like. Americans love that. You can have whatever you like. That's the trick. Learn to live simple. They hate it. Learn to say, I'm good, you can keep it. They hate it. Walk with God. Walk with law.
Stupid talk. Oh, you so articulate. That. Waiting for someone to validate you, for you to say, now I exist. Most college students, you guys go through this all the time with validation, as opposed to validating yourselves. In this instance, this is a hip hop parable here, and I'll get back to the history lesson. This year, when you go to your graduation, or whenever you get to your graduation, whenever you get to your graduation and you pick up your receipt, I mean your degree, then you will see what I'm talking about. The difference between being free and being free is when you are free, self-creative, self-evident, you self-actualize. Free is, I can't move until I get this authorization. I'm not a business major until I get a business major's degree. I'm not a computer engineer until I get the computer engineer degree. I'm not a doctor really until I get the doctor's degree. Wrong! Hip-hop looked at it the completely different way. We said, I am. Said, I am. When someone says, what is your name? You say, my name is Bob Barker. How you doing? When you ask a hip hopper, what is your name? Yo, I'm DJ Bob Ski from 125th. You want to get down? What? The difference in psychology is this. Yo, man, I'm just Bob Barker. That person is like that because they are connected to their, in other words, their well-being is connected to something outside of themselves. You get this low self-esteem when your well-being is connected to something outside of yourself. This is the beginning of poverty, right here. I want, meaning that I don't have. And what I want is more valuable than what I already have. The mainstream told us, they said, the mainstream said, everything that you have has no value. Your clothes, your furniture, everything has no value. The only way you have value is if you come through us, mainstream institutions. Consciousness, our ability to be aware, we tend to think it comes from us. But the argument is that if We are separated from this for 4 minutes. What's the first thing we lose? Consciousness. 4 minutes, all it takes to be separated from this substance. And the first thing is your heart don't stop. Your lungs live on. Let's keep going. Consciousness, you lose. The brain does not even die yet. The first thing that goes is consciousness. You are conscious because you are breathing. Therefore, consciousness does not come from you. It is a gift. If air is supposed to come from the trees grow whether we are conscious or not. They produce oxygen for us. We are so interdependent on this oxygen that if you don't get this product of the trees in 4 minutes, you're over. But we cutting the trees out. Boop, boop, boop. One tree, one forest after another going down. And what are we cutting really? We're cutting off consciousness. This is the battle, ladies and gentlemen. Hip-hoppers realized it long ago. The battle is for your mind. People say it, but they don't really know what they're talking about. Awareness is the fight. The FBI, with all their millions and all their technology, said that when it comes to the black community, what we are looking for is a black messiah. Those are the words, quote. They looked at Malcolm X, they looked at Martin Luther King, Kwame Ture, or then Stokely Carmichael. They're looking at all of these people rising up and they just start making plans to get rid of them. Not so much because these people were a threat to the United States, but because what they stood for inspired you. This is the real argument. The fake argument is Martin Luther King was killed because he was black. You know, they shot Malcolm because he was black. I would sum Martin Luther King up in this way, generalizing his philosophy in this way. This is what makes Martin Luther King so dope, is that he taught that in the face of hypocrisy, lawless lawmakers, when the people who make the laws are breaking them in front of you, your highest weapon is to stand in the law, and by showing them the mirror image of their own hypocrisy, you bring about justice. To do that, you have to let the dog bite you. You got to stand there when they're shooting the water, because your purpose for standing there is that this is a hypocrisy to your entire way of life. If I don't stand here, the hypocrisy will not be heard. It will not be seen.
If everything was the truth, you'd have no freedom. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't do nothing. You like breathing air is the truth. That is the law. Stop, break that law, and you're no longer in this dimension. Okay. To be in this dimension, gravity is a truth. Breathing air is a truth. Speaking and you comprehending is a truth. Now imagine if you could go outside of what other people believe truth is. They told you at gunpoint. Truth is this book, The Art of Deception. That these symbols, this T, this H, this E, this A, these symbols are saying the art of deception. But if you could look past these symbols and make these symbols respond according to your perception of them, you're free.
Because this is how education keeps us mentally enslaved. The words we use, the images that these words give our minds, is what's controlling your perception. What is perception? The way you see things, the way you see reality. If a painter was to walk in this room right now, the painter would see all kinds of stuff. This needs to be touched up, or that's going to fade in a couple of months. That paint is called something blue. This paint is called something. We don't know any of this. If the painter stayed in the room and a plumber walked in the same room, the room would change again. The plumber would say, oh no, forget the paint. Look, this fixture here, we need to fix that sprinkler. Look, there's a pipe behind here that goes to there, and that's where we're going to get the main. This is invisible to you. Your perception is built upon, or you believe that your perception is built upon what you know. I know that. I know this. I am aware of that. I am aware of this. That awareness creates your reality. The more things you know, the better off you are able to negotiate life. That's what knowledge does for you. It makes you aware of your environment, yourself, makes you a better you. Knowledge. But unknowing is an argument that says what you don't know is also teaching you. I discovered this in hip-hop with my own life.
You see a regular room. It's got books, little brick. That's it. There's a room. The painter enters the room and sees a totally different room. They can tell you what paint this actually is by name. They'll tell you when it was painted based on the cracks. They'll tell you how to restore it. Paint. We walked in here even thinking about paint. You saw it, you looked at it, but you didn't see the paint job. Because your vocabulary doesn't need paint job vocabulary. You only see reality according to the vocabulary that you have. So the electrician walks in. The paint is looking at paint. What's the electrician looking at? A whole different room. What do you see? What world do you actually see? The brain can only see according to the words it has. I'll say it again. The brain, your brain, can only see reality according to words. If we didn't have a word, I mean anything, if we didn't have a word for this, if we didn't have a word for this, you would not see it. You would overlook it. Your eyes would technically view it, but you would not see it. You would not comprehend it. Like in this room. We give this example in the gospel of hip hop.
But anyway, this was real. The government working on behalf of other organizations, or working with other organizations, not about working with other organizations, launched a program to stop a certain intelligence happening, a certain happening already going on in the American societies. The problem was their own shortcomings of racism and sexism. Sexism hit them first. The plan was to get rid of all the men, assuming that women had no power and that without a man they would crumble. Hip hop has defied that law. We don't even discuss it no more.
Now today, we don't really read, we glance. We glance at blurbs. We have, laugh out loud, LOL, or happy face. We don't actually say laugh out loud. And we don't laugh out loud. I would suggest that when you write LOL, take a moment and actually laugh out loud. It will cure this dysfunction. Relying only on technology to speak for you to describe your reality, if you use it, to at least match it with a human act. Laugh out loud, and then send it on. At least your humanity was not taken.
KRS 1 stands for knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. I want to know why nearly? Why not everyone?
Because, well, the reason KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, the reason this acronym exists is because knowledge doesn't reign over everyone. Knowledge is the realm of intellect. It's the realm of rational thought. So I always leave that opening for those that can think faster in a more spiritual thought, more collective consciousness thought that is not defined by linear time, A, then B, then C, then D. That's knowledge. But spiritual thought is the whole alphabet at once. So it's knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, because some people are governed by spiritual forces that move faster than the intellect.
I need a name for a new identity. And why is this important? Because what you call yourself is how circumstances and situations are going to respond to you. What you call life is how it responds to you. So if you say, I'm a murder dude on the block, my name is Murder, you know what's coming for you. Really? Really? You driving around with a chopper? But young kids take that, eat that, and be like, yeah, I got the chopper in the bag. And where are you going with that? That whole vision leads to one place. That whole thing. But this is what, and this is what it is. What you call yourself is what you draw to yourself. Give yourself names like king, queen, prophet, teacher, princess, Lord, God. Give yourself those names. As a young dude coming up in America, you guys have the best, you're living in the best and the worst times. That was a book, wasn't it? It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. You're living in the best of times and the worst of times. This is public school education that takes your reality and puts it in their world.
The Matrix.
Don't go there yet. Stay plugged. The reality, and I want you to see this, I gotta go slow. Your reality, what you perceive as what's possible, what is possible for you, your reality is based on colonizers and beings. But hip-hop is the new Vatican right now. This is why we started the Temple of Hip Hop, because there is knowledge that urban people need, spiritual knowledge that's still in the world, but urban people need it. Urban people need to know that God is not a man in the sky. They'll say that, oh, we know God is not a man in the sky, but you don't really believe that. You really don't believe that God is in your heart, because if you did, you wouldn't be looking at the next man the way you're looking at him. We don't really have a robust spirituality, and I think it really needs to come back. You know, spirituality hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. People have just allowed themselves to be labeled. But I will never live in guilt. I will achieve peace. I have real love in my life. What are you pursuing? If peace and love and joy is not important to you, then keep it real. The problem is, we say we want peace, but we really want that money. Others claim they want money, but really, they just want peace. Cultural, corporate
For many years, this was the fight. Something happened over the last 10 years.
Oh, you're saying
How
it's
it's
always the
interpreted.
excuse.
Yeah.
It's always you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
But you are. The mind creates its own reality. This is what we cannot escape. Whatever you choose to think will be your life. And we don't take that seriously enough. We really don't. And again, it's a weird thing to say because this is an issue of character.
You willed it into existence. You took us
My
there.
point is that as a philosopher, if you've read 1,000 books, your perception of reality is not everyone else's. And so you have to be humble enough and open-minded enough to deal with people on the level they are on. And so that's why I say, for me, everything I say is the truth. Like, the truth. I don't even like to speak about what I believe.
Do you see how that level of assurance,
Yes,
which propelled you out of the homeless shelter,
yes.
also came back against you in a commercial way because it was like, oh, he's talking down to us.
Yes,
He's condescending.
yes,
He's not letting
yes.
us participate in his
Right,
knowledge.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is crazy. Seriously? No. He's right.
No, that's it. No, I'm wrong. Because the society says, no, you're free. Society says, you're free. So you believe because that is the authority. That's who's pointing the gun at your head. So that's the authority, the one with the gun at the head. And this is the basis of reality and law itself. This is it right here. It's that we live in a militarized society. So reality, and get this, now this is the mind blower right here. Because what I'm saying is not wrong or bad. Damn, here you go.
See, I'm going to take over the show.
This is evil. This is evil what I'm
Teacher
about to say
time.
right here. This is so evil. What I'm saying is not wrong or bad. The way government operates or the way the manipulation of reality is not wrong or bad. Here's the reality we live in. We are in time because we're in society. We've chosen to live in this civilization. So if you choose to live in this civilization, then there's nothing wrong with this civilization's rules. The only problem is when you believe these are the only rules now, and you have no place else to go. You have no place else to think. You can't maneuver. When their rules fails, you got nowhere else to go. Or when they're trying to impress their rules upon you, you got nowhere else to go. That's where this form of knowledge really comes in. It's not really even to go up against their rules because the wisest minds on earth created these rules. The people, like, this is an ancient technique this is. Make the world believe that the good is a threat.
Wow.
And this is how the world is kept in control.
Actually, Scott named the album Criminal Minded. And I knew right then and there the power of the word. The Greeks call it the power of the logos. The word. The things you say come back to you. You speak your reality into existence. Okay? Now I knew that. And we still put out Criminal Minded. Just to show you how the spiritual life works as well. You could know Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad all day. Are you walking the path is the question. I had profound spiritual knowledge at 20. I had read everything by 20. Been to every mosque, every synagogue, every temple, every church. I've been there, been in it, sat down. But when it came time for me to survive, none of that mattered. Your mind state, your reputation, whatever it is, if these things matter to you, then speaking truth to power on behalf of the people, you just can't go there. You can't, it's not your place. So I say, no, it's not the responsibility of the average artist. The average dude, just get your money, sing your record, try to be popular. Do whatever you could do. But some of us are awake, and we know what it means to stand in front of people that admire you. Raise your arm one way, they're raising their arm the same way. Say this, and they say it. Say that, and they say, wear this, drink this, eat this, sound like this. And you have whole communities mimicking what it is you are. I think there's some responsibility to that, to take that responsibility seriously. Doesn't mean they're a bad person, it just means you're not there. But to the ones who are, and this is where I want to put an emphasis, those who are aware are the ones who are not doing anything, which is why the world is the way it is. Too many people that have knowledge are using their knowledge for themselves. And look at this, rightfully so. You spent $100,000 on your education. Why do you have to share that with anybody? You stayed up late. Everybody was at the party chilling. You was in a book. 20 years later, you're sitting on top. Everybody else that was partying is now struggling. Because we see this in history. It goes over and over and over and over and over. This is history. The one who stays home and studies and fills that head with knowledge and sees a whole new world gets that world. You ever want to know what a good idea is? Everyone disagrees with it. Anytime someone's standing there going, yeah, I get, you say, I have new knowledge. And everyone says, well, we understand it. It's not new knowledge then. New knowledge shatters your old thinking. Not replaces it, shatters it. This is why no one wants to learn anything new. Everyone wants to build upon what they already know. That's not knowledge. That's called information. Big difference. Information is external stimuli. Information hits your 5 senses and you become aware based on your senses. That is information. Knowledge is about you. Every time we say Imhotep, we bring his name down to our ridiculous level. You don't speak the name of your ancestors and not be them. So when you say Imhotep, that's not something to study objectively. Oh yes, that's Imhotep and there's me.
Right.
No, everybody else has to study Imhotep like that. Because Imhotep is not their direct ascendant. You, black people, are not supposed to be studying objectively about yourself. You're supposed to be studying subjectively about yourself. Everything I study, I'm going to become it. That has to do with me. When I read about Frederick Douglass, I'm going to take on his character.
Candidates are a joke. All of them are scripted, and there's a hidden hand behind them, and we all know that. All of them are basically managers of a situation. Nobody's really owning their situation. If you don't really understand the economy of the country, you don't know the laws, you're not an educated voter. And this is what a lot of these candidates are actually banking on. They're banking on the ignorance of American citizenry, which is what I see in these Democratic as well as Republican debates. There's no realness to this. Nobody's studying anybody. Somebody says, kill the Mexicans, yeah! You know what, I think women should get paid more, yeah! Take away everybody's guns, yeah! Nobody's thinking. So if we're not gonna have a real discussion about the real state of America, leave me the f*** alone.
Same way at Disney World that I felt at the Vatican. People out there hustling, they herding you across. Jesus started to look like Mickey Mouse. The Vatican is running themselves like Disney World. So many thousands of people there. The nuns are walking past you. The priests are walking past you. Nobody's walking up to you and saying, brother, get over here. Let me pray on you. In 10 minutes, there'll be group prayer.
Let's read out this Bible right now. All of y'all walking around the Vatican, let's read the Bible every 15 minutes. Let's have something go down. None of that. And I was ashamed. You know what I'm saying? I'm a child of God, man. I don't know what everybody else into. But when I walk into the house of God, I want to feel peace. I want to feel love. I want to feel knowledge. I didn't feel none of that at the Vatican. None of it. And nobody that was there felt that either. There's 1 billion people on the planet. It only takes one to change it. Are you the one? There may be everybody in your classroom bugging out. Your whole school may be on fire with kids wilding, bringing guns in. But are you the one? Nature has a way of abundance. Nature puts out a lot of stuff looking for the one. So if you're going to go along with the trend of let's just kill each other, let's disrespect each other, then you're part of nature's plan as well, to be part of just the excess. But if you think more of yourself than just being the excess, you'll do more for yourself. Are you the one? The devil is slick, because what most people don't realize is that it's God that comes with light and big music and drums and scariness. The devil is very approachable, very well-spoken, very accommodating. You could have whatever you like. God says you gotta work. I'ma stand here. Now come on. God says here's the blessing, work up to it. The devil says you ain't gotta do no work. Here. Don't be tempted, and leave the emotionalism out of politics. You know when you should get emotional? When injustice happens. That's when your emotions should rise up. Power looks for weakness. Power looks for weakness. If you standing firm and you say, I know the law, not just this law of the land or sea, but I know the law. I know that justice, I know that nature is just. And if you're unnatural, out of nature, imbalanced yourself, the real war is not me against you, it's endurance. I'm going to out-endure you. Ugh. The evil people trip themselves up trying to chase the righteous. It's when the righteous come out of their square and into their world and try to fight.
Unknowing. It is resting in the fact that even what I don't know is teaching me as much as what I do know. That I am building the totality of myself, not just in what I know, but what I choose not to know. I don't need to watch CNN when I wake up in the morning to hear that a missile is pointed at my head. I don't know that I need to know that. I don't know that I need to wake up in the morning, turn on the radio, and hear ignorance. I don't know that I need to hear that. I am building me. Sure, I know things, but I'm going to stop myself from knowing some other things because the totality of knowing is making up my reality.
You know, real America is its people, not necessarily the title itself. And one day American people are going to wake up and realize that you are American, like you are the country. There is no system, there is no, you know, there's nothing. These are all fictitious constructs. You are the actual country itself. The way you act is the way the country act. And when people wake up and realize that, then of course we'll wake up to a better day. Until that time, I'll keep spitting the raw.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, they live in a universal mind, but never ask the universe for anything. Wow. Never ask you for anything. They just live there. The universe is just there. You know, the universe is like a mirror. So it's like if you stand there, the universe stand there. You know, the minute you go up, the universe instantly is going up.
it's like a mirror. Anything you do in the mirror is instant. Same thing with the universe. Anything you do in the universe, it is instantly doing it to you. So here, I can be here all day, but the people that surround me may not be here. That's what self-sacrifice now. Come on now. Now we're into Christianity. Let's move over to the Christians now. You know, cross is an acronym. Cross, constant reminder of self-sacrifice. The cross. Now you gotta bear the cross. That's when you jump down here, all the way down to here. This is painful here.
We have become so objective to our own existence.
Or to the objectification of black bodies.
No, we are objective to black bodies. We are trained to approach our oppression as if it's someone else. We actually watch Eric Gardner, let's say, you know, I can't breathe. Or anyone else, Trayvon, anybody. We still are watching it. It's still entertaining. We are not going to participate in this system until our people are free. If we're not doing that, then now let's back up. Because everything then is entertainment. Everything is all entertainment. We can watch our mother get beat on the silver screen. We can even get an award for it. In fact, the young lady got an award for it. And for that scene. Envy is the seat of poverty. Wanting what someone else has sets up your poverty right there. I want something that I don't have. You wouldn't be poor if you didn't want. But here's the point. Everybody wants something. Even not to want is a want. So let's be clear with what we want. Many of us don't even know what we want. We're just going. Where you going? I don't know. What you doing? I don't know. I'm just going. At some point, you gotta say, wait a minute. What is the meaning of me? See, the difference here is I am free or I have been freed. My existence is based on someone else's validation. If I have the right to do it, I don't move unless I have the right. I don't move unless the state told me I could. I don't move unless it's some kind of law, some kind of ordinance. I can't move. I don't have meaning unless something external from myself defines me. I am freed. I am not free, because to be free, there are consequences to that. I would like to be freed. I'm going to stay here under law and under my rights and under all of that, and I'm not going to make a move in no other direction unless I'm told that I can. Because what happened was the audience began to cheer those with the dirtiest mouth. So everybody, I guess when it started, it kind of started out kind of like, you know, kind of on an even keel. But then if somebody said an expletive and the audience was like, oh, and you're winning by way of audience response, then I think in that sense it kind of fell into then everybody to try to take out the guy before him felt that the way to get the valve out of the audience was to speak the expletive. Now I believe that if the audience was not cheering them along, that they would have been forced to change their view. But you was there as well. Every time somebody said something about somebody's moms or about somebody's this or that, the audience loved it. And I think that spurred these MCs on. Further with trust, study the word trust. I'm not going to get into trust and the banking system, because this is the center of the banking system. It's not money, it's trust.
There is no money in the bank. It's trust. It's actually faith. Real talk. It's actually faith that they're dealing with at the bank. While we scurry around looking for money, they're living on another level in faith and trust amongst themselves. How do you build trust? Character. Character of charity. Character of care. Character of mercy. Forgiveness. Wanting to see another person get somewhere. You're trusted. Who are you? Why are you here? I couldn't answer the question. I kept scratching my head. What do you mean, who am I? Why am I where? Yeah, who are you? Why are you here? I couldn't figure that out. Then one day I did. It came to me. My mother used to say, know thyself. Know thyself, an old saying. What are you talking about, know thyself? Who are you and why are you here? What are you talking about? Finally, it hit me. When you create yourself, you know yourself. I was looking for myself and did not realize that I was already myself. I just didn't make the decision to accept myself. The second part of your scholarship. Can you accept yourself?
Because the Messiah is not one person. The Messiah is a symbol for an idea that liberates people. Those that have ears to hear, hear it. The Messiah is never physical. The Savior is never physical. The Savior is the adopted idea that liberates your mind. The Savior is the idea you take on and you say, wait a minute, I'm not that, I'm that. So quick, so I'm not this, I'm this. You learn totally different things about yourself. You would come home and cry because you didn't understand for so many years how you was being deprived of your own humanity. When you realize how much we are deprived of the human spirit, you start to fight for it. When you realize that the reason love is leaving society is because of technology. Nobody wants to say it, but it's the truth. Is technology telling you what to do, or are you telling your technology what to do? Technology is not bad. The dependency upon it is what is bad. The dependency. What can you do without technology? You used to have to bring your humanity to the TV. You used to have to get up, turn the channel. That's human. Now, what happens? The TV is telling you how to move on your own couch. See, we used to have to get up off the couch, walk to the TV, turn it off, up, down, volume, all that. You had to take your hand, mine, and manipulate technology. Now, you sit, and technology manipulates you right from the chair.
Okay, and you go to a slave or an African, and you say right there, while he's picking the cotton, right there, yo, man, what you think about this whole situation you in right now? You're going to get two types of people. You're going to get three. You're going to get one type of person say, what situation? I'm just picking cotton. Then you're going to get another person that says, well, you know, it's kind of, you know, Master Charlie kind of hard on me, but he all right. Then you get this other person that's like, yo, what's your name? You got something called a MAP? I'm trying to get out of here. These are the three people you're going to meet on the plantation. In the 1500s, the three people you're going to meet. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't care that I'm here, and I'm trying to get the hell out of here.
Those that pray, when you pray, God does not speak English. Can we just establish that? Okay? God does not speak English or French, German, Spanish, none of that. God hears the groan of your heart. If you can speak from your heart, thank you, brother, and I'm answering that too. If you can speak from the groan in your heart, and this is real right here, the groan in your heart, the joy in your heart, the essence of your being, you express that to God. There's no words in that. This is a submitting. This is a letting go. This is not about knowing. This is about unknowing. I mention all of this because there are two types of people in the world: the free and the free. I'm not here to critique the free. I feel for the free. Most of my brothers are free. Most of my sisters are free. They're waiting for the government to give them something. They're waiting for the record company to fix the contract. They're waiting for Viacom to stop buying up everything. They're waiting for Clear Channel to stop playing the same junk on the radio every day. They're waiting. When we are a nation right now, our only problem, lack knowledge of self. Awareness that we are that. Choose with my perception to see her as God. This is an ancient African technique. God was never outside of your perception. God was never outside of what you thought. That's why Western man came and said, there is no God, they're just making it up. Right. But God is the greatest human invention in human history. And the reason being, the reason Africans created God is so that humanity in its infinity would never run out of something to rise to. This is why God exists. If you don't have God, you don't rise. That's my perception of her. Now she can do something to break that perception. She could do something to enhance it. What if she knew that I thought she was God? There'd be something in her that would try to live up to the image that I see of her. There'd be something in her that when she approached me, she would at least have to either deny God or become.
The guy here was rated the #1, the greatest by this, and this. Again, this, and this has given a compliment. You took that compliment and turned it into value. What's the story that you're telling about yourself? Some people tell terrible stories about themselves and then they want prosperity. That shit was garbage. Now the two people here both remain in poverty. Why? Because the person expressed themselves and you just tore it down, said it was garbage. Now even if you thought that the rhymes was white, you said this is garbage rhymes. For the sake of creating wealth, you still say, that's the hottest shit ever. Why is that hot? Because if I say it's garbage and it's worthless, then you and I both sit in poverty. In a state of mental health, we're having really big mental health issues in the United States. No one wants to admit it, no one wants to see it, but half the people in the country is crazy. And I say that respectfully. Right. And I say that respectfully because these are real people. I mean, I'm not dissing anybody, but the pharmaceutical industry in the United States is rampant. There's more people addicted to pharmaceutical drugs than all of the illegal drugs combined. And these pharmaceuticals are not helping and making people more crazy, making people do more outrageous things, and so on. So in an environment like this, you're going to have to cling to something that's real. You can't just expect something to help you or work out down the line. We don't live in those times.
We live in times where you don't have to stand on something. And it is scary.
I need you to do this for the good of society. Of course, you try to be that man or woman, that civilian, and try to hold it down and say, yes, the ambulances are going by. Let me let the ambulance have its way and go by. Fire truck going by. Let me try to get out the way. I'm being a civilian. I'm not being controlled by the lights and the sound. I just know that this person might need to really get in front of me right now, so let me just back up. That's civility. You don't have to be forced into that. But most people are not civil or civilized. So law has to be placed upon people, has to be put on people, because nobody wants to act right. Nobody wants to unite. Nobody wants to be a good neighbor. So the government has to make us good neighbors. And they make us good neighbors by putting laws on us. You got to do this, you got to do that, you got to go. So all these laws, because your neighbors don't want to be neighbors, has you not being yourself. You're not being yourself. You're being whatever the law says, whatever your paycheck says, whatever your family says, whatever everybody else says except you. Mm-hmm. You're being everything everybody else wants you to be except what you really want to be. And this is the first thing to understand about hip-hop scholarship, not just that you are hip-hop itself and wherever you go, hip-hop goes, but that can you be that all the time? Can you do that all the time and allow things to disappear from you? Allow family and friends to leave you because you say I'm hip hop or whatever? Really, you can say whatever. I'm an attorney. Everybody else says I don't like attorneys, you shouldn't do that. What are you going to do? No, I'm not going to be the attorney now. What most people do is just that.
If the people are corrupt, the leadership will become corrupt. If the people are apathetic, they will allow their leadership to fall to corruption. We have too much information to just go, oh, we're going to vote and that's going to change everything. No, it's not. What's going to change things is when each of us begin to take responsibility like a president for ourselves. Before you can point a finger at any leader, look at your own home. How do you govern your home? How do you lead and guide your family? How do you treat your sons, daughters, wife, husband, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, etc.? This is your government. This is your governance. It's not about Barack Obama governing a nation. It's about each of us as citizens governing our own homes in such a way that the United States itself benefits.
If you're prepared to give up that job, give up that whatever you believe is the authority and make yourself the authority. Man, if you're willing to believe in yourself, the courage of that is that you may have to lose everything around you to get it. That's little boy stuff. Even the executives that work at MTV are little boys and little girls, all of them. Because there's no way a man is going to program what's being put on MTV. No way. You cannot say you are a man and then program MTV to be what that bullshit is.
You don't think that that is selfish, man?
No. The selfish reduces you to a boy.
Yeah, okay.
The minute selfish, boy. Angry, boy. Racist, boy. Sexist, boy. All that, just anything you put in front, take you down the board. Now you may start out as a man, but the minute you open your mouth, we're gonna see if you really a man or not. We're gonna see. And what's happening is rap music through mainstream media is turning all boys into boys. They're not raising them as men.
Was a wake-up call. And it was a wake-up not just to a wake-up, oh, America the evil. It was, I am the evil that America is. And the way this country is going to change is by me asking questions and transforming who I am. What is America if it is not me? I immediately got rid of that they talk. Oh, they trying to hold me back. It's them. Ain't no them and they. It's us. Because when them buildings went down, we was ready to kill every Saudi in this and I felt that hate in me. If it was not for my position in hip hop, and I'm putting it on hip hop because hip hop gives you a certain mentality. You just don't go for the okie doke. You know, we ain't with that mainstream thought.
The person's purpose. The Illuminati is the Illuminati because they follow their purpose. Now who are you? That's the question. We sitting around thinking, the minute you put Illuminati on your mind, they got you. The minute that's on your mind, because first of all, Illuminati don't even exist. It's a term we're throwing around for people we don't understand. And if you dig into the heart of any man, it is good. All people are suffering from problems that they face in their lives, and it comes out to us as corruption and evil. But if you know the truth, you know there's no such thing as corruption or evil in physical nature. So what is the real problem with people? The real problem is we have psychological disorders. We have depression. We have hungers and thirsts. We have losses.